your ruler. Zod. Your lands, your possessions, your very lives will gladly be given in tribute to me.
Okay, what's up guys? I saw this video pop up in my feed and I said I really like Zachary Levi. I would like to see what he had to say about that. Unfortunately, kind of already know in my gut what he's gonna say because he's like typical. Well, he's not. I wouldn't say he's typical because he's a really nice guy, but he is in that Hollywood bubble, so he has to toe the line so he can get the roles and all that stuff. But I've liked him for years. He was really great in Chuck. He was really great in Thor. If you probably didn't even know he was in Thor because he was in such good character, but he was one of Thor's buddies. And he was also a really good Captain Marvel, aka Shazam, but the real Captain Marvel. Anyways, but before I jump into it, really quick, I just want to touch on Rogan. I'll go off on my own little Rogan rant. I'm not a Rogan hater. I've loved Joe Rogan. Well, that's a weird way to say it, but let's just say that I've loved Joe Rogan for 10 years. Like, I was an early Rogan listener back when he was streaming on Justin.tv, back when he actually still did the podcast live before he sold out and stopped doing it live. I watched him on Justin TV. There's so many things in my life that I would have never tried if it had not been for listening to Joe Rogan. As pathetic or as that sounds, I don't care. It's the truth. So many things that I've been introduced to or gotten interested in was because of the Joe Rogan podcast. And I just think it's really sad what's happening to Joe Rogan in his podcast, because it's like everyone calls Tim Pool a fence sitter, a milquetoast fence sitter or whatever, but really the real fence sitter is... Now, I'm not going to disagree with that, because Tim Pool... Sometimes I wonder if Tim Pool is controlled opposition, because he's like always towing the line. But anyways, Joe Rogan... It's like... Joe Rogan's dead set on making nobody like him, right? He keeps saying stuff to piss off the left. He's been pissing off the left for years. For years he's been pissing off the left, but he still wants to be liked by them. He still wants them to like him, right? He still wants them to... like me, right? So he'll still have on Bernie Sanders and say he likes AOC, and then vote for Bernie in 2020, even though Bernie was for the lockdowns and Joe was against the lockdowns. So he'll still toe the line and say, I'm a lefty, like me. But then at the same time, be on the center to right side of most arguments, but then say shit to piss off the center and the right. Like most recent, like he'll have on Bernie Sanders in 2020, but he won't have on Trump. Makes no sense. It makes no sense. It's like, fine, you don't want to have him on your podcast? Fine, that's cool. But why are you talking shit about him if you're not going to let him on to defend himself? Anyways, I just think I'm not left, I'm not right. The best way to describe me would be dead center. But anyways, I just think Joe Rogan should quit weed for like a year so he can stop being he's being a dummy old man pissing off everyone, and half the shit he said is really dumb and uninformed, and if Jamie doesn't pull something up for him, he has no clue about anything. So I don't know. But anyways, let's jump into it. And I told you that was going to be a Rogan rant, but let's jump into it. And here we go.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
And Rachel's fantastic.
She's so good.
She's really
and she's
funny.
A lovely person. Like,
can imagine. She
yeah,
must be.
Yeah, they're
no
all
one's that
excellent.
good an actor.
I don't know. Some people might be.
They might be.
Hollywood's full of a lot of interesting deceit too, bro.
I know it is.
Yeah.
And sometimes we get to watch it on trial.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh.
How wild is that they had a relationship trial? Like, this is who was more fucked up in the relationship.
Yeah.
Let's show the whole world.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about it. I like, there's a part of me that just wishes that nobody would really care about any of that drama as it unfolds, because it's not pertinent to anybody's life really, or making the world a better place. Like,
Who gets paid for the advertising money from that trial? There must have been a lot of it. Does Johnny
was
get a
airing
cut
it?
of the YouTube time?
was it all YouTube?
I don't know.
It was
I mean,
all
but a lot of
YouTube
it is available on YouTube.
streamers.
Was it available for free?
They
when
made
it
bank
came out?
off of
How
that.
did they,
The
Rick
people
Cato
making
all
the
made
videos are
bank
making
off
money. I
that.
feel like I saw an article that said someone was making like 60 grand a month making reaction videos to the trial or something like
Just
that.
reaction videos?
Oh
of the
yeah,
trial?
yeah, yeah.
Or showing it,
Asmongold,
or
Rick Cato
highlights.
all.
Everybody wants to know what everybody else thinks about it. That the trial's a perfect thing to have a reaction video, because there's so many moments in that trial.
Certainly. But I think things like that, though, ultimately, I don't know, man. I feel like it's making us less empathetic, ultimately.
Yes.
It is making, we all get to look at these people, literally, like you're saying, like that they're having a marital dispute. We're all getting brought in on their nonsense, their shit, their traumas, all that stuff. And everyone just gets to sit around eating popcorn and judging the entire fiasco, because it's entertainment now. It's like everything is content and everything is entertainment. But the more we do that kind of stuff, I do feel like we're pulling farther apart from being able to look at either her or him and say, you both have issues and you both need to work on some shit. And, however the jury and all that found it, I saw little bits and pieces. It seemed like he was more in the right than she was. I would have gone with that too. But the point is, they're still human beings, both of them, at the end of the day, and they're just a circus when we see it like that, seemingly.
I think he wanted the circus because the circus exposes the truth. I think that was the only way to expose the truth, was to get her to talk about stuff on camera, and he felt like she would kind of fall apart.
Certainly, but I don't think that that could have been done just in a courtroom without it airing to the rest of the world. All that stuff would have been said on some cameras.
No,
that are
she made
recording in
it
that
public.
room and
She
Why are
made
we
it
trying to
public.
pretend that the jury didn't know how the rest of the world felt?
I know, it's so ridiculous.
In that
dude.
case,
It's so ridiculous.
In that case,
How do you keep jurors away from anything anymore?
How do you keep them away
Like,
from their phone?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Like, do we give up on that? On jurors being influenced by the outside world?
No, that's still very much the law, I believe.
But wasn't it at a certain point in time that they were
How
restricted?
do you enforce
like
it?
They weren't allowed
How
to
do you
watch
enforce it?
media
Oh, yeah,
or something
totally.
like that. They were sequestered.
You have to trust them.
I mean,
Is that still going on, or do they get to go home?
it depends on the trial. I think so. Yeah, like in the O.J. Simpson trial, all those guys got sequestered for a long fucking time. Oh man, it was not not ideal for any of them.
And after all that, they still come up with a fucked up verdict.
I mean, I agree. I don't see him as being innocent in that at all. But Rodney King had just gotten beaten on a freeway,
Yep.
and there was a lot of anger and a lot of pain and frustration. And again, not that should make the other right or whatever, but it's still just, I think we got to come back and be like, I don't know. Humans, we're humans.
You're right. We're like, everyone who's mocking the trial, me included, is not being empathetic to the fact that these are two human beings. Yeah. But there's something about liars in particular, that people, when they're lying and they are doing it to try to damage someone else.
Yeah. Oh, it's horrible.
It's one of the creepiest. So there's a certain amount of signaling that everybody's doing by not being empathetic, because it is such a public thing. There's a certain amount of signaling that we're doing to each other, saying, hey, that is fucking bullshit, always. And everybody kind of agrees. And then it's kind of better for people. It's better for people to see that on display and see people's reaction to it, and make people think about what is it like if someone lies about something just to try to damage someone.
Yeah. Well, listen, I 100% believe that all lies should be exposed. That, sunlight is the best disinfectant. We should be able to talk about all that shit for sure. But I think, hopefully it can be done where we all get the example.
But we're still nice to each other.
But we're still radically loving each other.
Yeah. It's possible.
Yeah.
It is possible. It's possible for people to be way nicer to each other.
Yeah, the only thing I would disagree with, dude, I thought going into that I was a little biased. I was like, dude, Zachary Levi is gonna be super pro Amber. He's gonna white knight so hard for her, but then he didn't. So I still like Zachary Levi. That was a really balanced take by him. He didn't really say anything I disagree with. The only thing I would say is she made it public, so it had to be public because Johnny was already guilty in the court of public opinion, so he had to be exonerated in the court of public opinion. And the only other thing I would say was, would you be so balanced and moderate, as we're all human beings, empathic, had the trial gone the other way? Had the trial gone that, oh, it wasn't Amber that was the super abusive one, it was Johnny, would he have been as lenient in his response? Anyways, but I'm gonna leave it there. I appreciate you for watching this video. Hopefully Ben Pixels doesn't come after me, because apparently Ben Pixels doesn't like people using Joe Rogan footage. Or anyways, so this video may not last, but you know, oh well. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, all that. Peace out.